Hi, Tuxedo Mask, Darian here, and today we're going to talk about why did Cloverway's English offshoot of Sailor Moon get hate? If you already saw the film, we talked about how Deke Sailor Moon got hate. Go over and watch that one if you want. So, in 9 between 98 YL, Deke lost the right to work with the Sailor Moon stuff, but still owned ownership over their Sailor Moon, at least the first two followings. By 9 between 99 YL going into 20 another bid started between Siobhan and Cloverway won. And Cloverway won the right to the third and fourth followings, and Pioneer or Pathseeker seek the right to the films. Now, since there were two businesses that had the rights to Sailor Moon stuff, it would be hard to say if any of it got hate. Now, first off, folks by this time some folks have already either learned what Sailor Moon was, either by going on a reckoner at the Learn or at the book house, or some of them may have been lucky enough and they could have buy their first reckoner. However they got on the interweb, they started to learn what Sailor Moon was, what followings Deke cut out, what shifts Deke made to it, and somehow they got hate over that. And then by 20 when Cloverway got the rights to work with Sailor Moon, these folks were hating on that. They were ranting and bitching about the same things. They were bitching about the show playing once again. Oh, it's the same. They got this time they bitched about the show playing again. Oh, the show players aren't speaking the way I think that they should be spoken like. I don't know what they wanted. Did they want folks speaking Dawn Landish English? Well, they didn't get Dawn Landish English. Sorry. What they got was settled land English and wanted Reich's English. And if that wasn't how they thought the cells should speak or talk like, well, keep in mind, no one truly knew how they would talk like. But they bitched about it all the same. Oh, I don't like the show players. The show players aren't doing it the way I think it should be done. And if they weren't bitching about that, then they were bitching about how the unstraight were being handled again. Once again, the unstraight were not being handled badly. Yes, there was Sailor Neptune and Sailor Uranus by that time, or Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune by that time, and every other offshoot of Sailor Moon, they were unstraight. Now, I have nothing against anyone who is unstraight, but these folks make it out to be like that they were being handled wrong. You know? They do. They go, oh, why did Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune become near kin? Well, once again, Cloverway, even though they didn't have to follow the whole Sailor Moon says thing, they still had to follow some oversights. And Cloverway didn't want to, upset the apple cart by having Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune be coming off as unstraight. Because there would have been folks that would have called Cartoon. Then Cartoon would have had to tell Cloverway it's a no-go because these folks are bitching about unstraight. And they made them out to be near kin because they grew up. They had a near bond to each other. And it is true, there are folks that are closely bonded. And if you are closely bonded to your near kin, you will, be with them a lot. And there is not, and first off, that's what Cloverway was going with. Some folks, some kin are closely bonded, and some are not. But a lot of folks knew that at the end of the day, that was Cloverway's way of, talking about their kinship without saying, oh, they're unstraight. But there was nothing wrong. So why they got and why they hated that, I don't know. Then the next thing they bitched about were strike names being shifted again. Once again, strike names were being shifted all over Sailor Moon. And keep in mind, Deke had shifted them out. Cloverway shifted them back to what their names were before that, but they weren't happy. Then they somehow, and then I don't understand this, but once again they bitched about the names. Well, you should know by now that you should know by now that in Sailor Moon's English world, they have either Greek or French or Latin or Farsi borrowed names. You know, no Dawnlandish borrowed names. Sorry. But is that truly how they got the hate? And somehow, some way, those are the only things they could bitch about. You know? And Cloverway hoped to keep their offshoot of Sailor Moon more near to Toei's offshoot, but they did have to make some shifts to it. Yes, they did. And these folks bitched and ranted and somehow got hate over the third and fourth followings of Sailor Moon, which I don't understand how that happened, but somehow, some way it did. And we could make films talking about it for many years to come, and we'll never truly understand where the hate came from. Now, you did hear me say that Pioneer or Pathseeker got the right to the 3 films which had been made around that time. And yes, the films did get hate too. But we will be talking about the films another time. You know, someone else will talk about the hate that the Sailor Moon films got. The ones that Pioneer got the rights to work with. Or Pathseeker, since Pioneer is a French borrowed word. Anyway, I don't understand how this I don't like it became I hate it. I don't understand where all that came from. I could see them being unhappy with some stuff from the show, but I can't see how this became hate. But somehow over the years it shifted into hate. That somehow their hatred for the Deke offshooted to their hatred for the Cloverway. And I don't understand it. I truly do not understand how someone, alright, so maybe they didn't like the name, they didn't like the show playing, they didn't like the strikes being shifted, or whatever. But you could say you don't like the show, but how did it become hate? I don't understand it. I don't. And you would think that the Cloverway one would not get as much hate from them as the Deke one did. The Cloverway one, they really didn't shift a lot of things out. Or they kept the borrowed names that Deke gave them. Yes, they did have to shift Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune's kinship. That's true. But at the end of the day, they really didn't do much to shift it out. You know. But somehow even this Sailor Moon still gets hate from them. And I don't understand that. So anyway, that's all the time I got. If you like this film, then go follow us over here at Sailor Moon for Life. Watch the film when Sailor Moon talked about the Deke Sailor Moon getting hate. I, Tuxedo Mask, Darien, and I'll see you later. Bye.